Now, most of you are familiar with employee referral programs. For those of you who are currently employed or have been employed, you all know that the employee referral program means money. And that's probably one of the reasons why I've been successful in getting new jobs, is that my friend who referred me to KPMG got $5,000 for referring me. So, I mean, that was probably one of those driving factors. Now, the one thing I want to caveat with that is I've actually recommended him to work at Booz Allen Hamilton before he left for KPMG. And when I recommended, I only got $1,000, so it's not really quite equitable. I kind of got gypped. But he promised to take me out to a nice dinner, and then he sent me a McCormick & Schmidt's gift card, so I guess I have to take that as a consolation. But the interesting thing about that is, while you recommend people and part of your network, you have to be aware, and we'll talk a little bit about this later, you've got to be very careful about your network. Very careful. Because at the end of the day, it's going to be your reputation. If I hired and recommended somebody to come work at Booz Allen as a Booz Allen, and they did a really bad job, my credibility for getting other people through that same employee referral program probably is going to be relatively limited. So keep that in mind, that if you're going to refer people to your companies, you've got to be very careful, because it will ultimately be your credibility in the line. And when it comes time to use that silver bullet to get someone hired, it's going to possibly negatively impact you. So the first thing you should probably be doing is, right now, is if you don't have already done this, how many people have mapped out your social network? And I don't mean like using Facebook and LinkedIn, but how many people have actually sat on a piece of paper and mapped out your social network? Anybody? A few? Okay. Can you tell me a little bit about what you did to map it out? No, in the back. Sorry.
I drew a picture of how I met one person and then how that led to other opportunities.
That's really good. And in fact, that's what you should probably do, is sit down and start writing out the people who I call your first-tier networks. The people who you know will return your phone calls. They're your friends. They're probably your family. And I hate to say this, but sometimes mom and dad, or your uncles or aunts, or your cousins or nephews are not bad people to reach out to, because you have a common thing called blood, usually. And so, therefore, reaching out to family is always a good thing. For those of you who might be in college or out of college, your professors are always good, especially if you were a standout student. If you were an F student or a D student, like I was as an undergrad, you probably want to reach out to some of those students, those professors. And I'm not going to lie to you, my first 2 years of college at San Diego State University were quite enjoyable. I don't remember ever going to class, and I think I had an F average my first year. So, that being said, even I was able to actually get over those odds. So I know that if I can get over those odds, almost anything can do it. So, current and previous jobs. If you have people who are your mentors or even mentees at a previous job, you should be writing those people down. Think about any associations or clubs you belong to, any sports you participate in, maybe a religious or community activity. Basically, you should be doing a laundry list of about 50 to 100 names. Just start writing out as many names. Not right now, please, but start writing out as many names as you can when you have some time, and kind of just outline it. And then start breaking that list of names down to what I would call your first tier, second tier, and third tier. First tier would be, in my mind, is people who you can really connect with. You should be asking yourself a question when you're looking at your segment and your profile. You should be asking yourself, well, who do I connect with? Who do I have a common bond with? Whether it's family, school, or whatnot. The second thing you should ask yourself is, who do I admire, trust, or respect? And if the answer is no to any of those, you immediately scratch them off your list and remove them from your network list. What makes you feel energized or good? Is there that person who, when you talk to them, you feel afterwards you walked away, wow, I feel like I could take on the world? Or do you feel after you walked away from them that they've sucked all the life out of you? How many of us have those friends who you feel like after you hang out with them, they suck all the life out of you, you just want to go fall in bed and cry? Okay. So we all have that. Now, the next thing you want to think about is who motivates and manages to get the best out of you. There's people out there who you know that you talk to, and they're awesome, and they manage to get you to do things that you never thought possible. For me, it was like a track coach to make me run that extra mile, because I hated running. And so for me, getting me to run that extra mile, my track coach was one of those people. And then you have to ask yourself, who has the expertise to what you need right now? So if it's a job, who there has that expertise to help you get a job? If it's expertise, like let's say you're a CEO of a company, who in your network will have that expertise to get you that advice that you need? And then lastly, who has access to others who maybe have assistants? I'll be honest, I've done a lot of networking, and one of the things I've noticed, and one of the things I always walk away from any meeting I talk to someone, if they can't help me, I usually ask, is there anyone who they can refer me to who might be able to assist me, and if they can make an introduction? So keep in mind that they may not be able to help you immediately, but somebody else might be able to. Now, most of you are using contact databases, right? Is anyone here using a contact database? Okay, so the easiest and cheapest one probably is Outlook. Outlook has a contacts section. Macintosh has address book. Anyway, the point is that there's a lot of cheap or free ones out there. I would highly encourage you to use some of those user-defined fields within there. I would use the categories in Outlook. Make your own customized categories for whatever you want it to be, whether or not it's a coworker or ex-colleague or whatever it's going to be. It will make your life easier when you do a quick search through your actual contact database. The other thing also is I always like to keep a history of conversations, emails, meetings, or correspondence. I keep in the notes section. And the reason for that is two-part. Because I talk to a lot of people, I sometimes forget who I've spoken with. I know I'm really bad at that. So there's nothing more embarrassing when sending an email to somebody and then 2 weeks later sending a similar type email to them, because then you look like an idiot. It looks like you didn't really look through your actual network. So I encourage you to keep track of who you talk to and when you talk to them. That's the other thing. And then the other one I would also recommend is that you have in the user define who referred you to them if they've been referred by somebody. Because it's always good for like when you're doing your mapping to be able to kind of figure out how do they fit in the big picture. Especially, because I know, how many people here collect business cards? Okay, so everyone collects business cards. Have you ever walked away from somewhere and like a month later you're going through your wallet and you're like, oh wow, who the hell is this person? How did this get in my wallet? And you don't know where you got it from. We'll talk a little bit about how to maybe alleviate that, but that's what you don't want to have in your contact database is people who you don't know how you met them or how you interface with them. And then lastly, always keep your information current in either your laptop, your PDA, your phone, whatever you're going to use to keep yourself current in networks, because sometimes you just don't know when you need it, and it's always good to have it there. Now, most of you are using online tools, correct? Who here is using an online tool for keeping track of networks? Okay. Would anyone like to share some of the tools that they're using? Because I think that's also valuable here. Is I only know a few that I use, but I'm curious what you guys use. What? Google. Okay, Google manages your network using Google Gmail, the contact in Gmail. Okay. Anything else? Yeah.
Send out cards.
What?
Send out cards.
Send out cards. Okay. Is that a website or online internet use?
Online. Puts the human back in contact.
Okay, got you. So you send out like an e-card or something to that? Nope.
Real cards.
Real cards. Okay.
Signed with the
Nice. Anything else that you're using for online for tracking contacts? LinkedIn. Okay, everyone's heard of LinkedIn. Anything else? Is anyone using Plaxo? You ever heard of Plaxo? Plaxo is actually an online contacts management database. It scares me because you put your information in there and then people connect you, and then when you update it, when I update my information, it pushes it out to everyone else, and that kind of freaks me out. But the nice thing about it is that whenever people change their phone numbers or their email addresses, and I resync with Plaxo, it pushes it all into my phone. So my phone has relatively fresh data in it.